Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. It's
So welcome to welcome to Cinemadness. I'm Allison. I'm here with Adam,
I
and we're missing Roman. He died. Just kidding. He's just not cool, and he didn't see one of the newest movies out.
That was
And
me stabbing. That wasn't me like cheering.
I
That
thought
was
that was you like stabbing him,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you
But I
killed
wasn't
him.
like cheering that he was
No, no,
dead.
no. I get it. I get it. So we are here to do a brief review on the new Scream movie, also known as Scream 6,
Scream
Scream
six.
VI. Huh?
I was gonna say Scream six. The only one with Roman numerals.
Yes, but not Roman, the
Yeah,
character, kind of.
yeah.
So we are going to the first part of it, we are going to do a spoiler-free review. And then after that, if you have not seen the movie or if you want to see the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off. Turn us off because we are going to bust spoilers out all over the place. Because
Much
it's hard to
like the
talk.
bloodshed in this
Yes.
movie.
It's hard to talk about a horror movie in a franchise like this and not spoil things. So,
That's a good point.
yes. You should have had your ghost face mask on over there.
I didn't want to take it off. It's there.
Oh,
You could see it.
kind of. That's him picking his nose. Okay. So, Scream 6 leaves off kind of where Scream 5 left off. So if you haven't seen Scream 5, this isn't going to make any sense to you, but if you haven't seen Scream 5, you should, and you probably don't even care about this review anyways. But
It's what, a year later?
yes, a year later. We have the two sisters, Samantha and what's Jenna Ortega's character's name?
Was it Tori?
Tara.
Tara?
I like it, Tara. Yeah. So Samantha and Tara, the two sisters that are the survivors of the last ghost
Carpenter.
Carpenter. Yeah, it doesn't really fit, but whatever.
Samantha Carpenter. That's a cool name
Yes,
though.
Samantha Carpenter. Yeah. So Tara is now going to college in New York City, and Samantha's going with her. Obviously, they are a package because they survived the killings in Woodsboro, and they are trying to move on with their lives. With them are the brother and sister, the two twins, Mindy, and I don't remember the guy's name.
Chad.
Mindy and Chad. Yes, the two most non-African American names, but they are two. I think they're mixed. They're awesome. I love those two. I think they're really cool. We find out in Scream 5 that they are Randy's niece and nephew. So
and
that's how
and
they
they
tied in.
show and it shows that they are.
Yes, yes, especially Mindy. Mindy's a
Yeah.
badass. She's all about horror movies, and she basically replaced Randy in the last movie, talking about the rules and all that. She's pretty cool. She's pretty feisty. So the four of them are now in New York City, and three of them are going to school. They call themselves the Core Four later on the movie. Kind of cute. Okay, so they are our survivors. Sprinkle in a couple of other people like they do in all these movies, a random boyfriend here, a random roommate there, and right, you make up the new cast
Right.
for the most part.
Not a spoiler. It's basically Scream 2 Part 2.
Yes, because they're going to college. And I will talk about an Easter egg about that later that I
Oh.
I discovered in the movie, and then I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but then I confirmed, doing some more research. And I want to say I did a lot of research because if I can't even remember what the one girl's main name is, I clearly didn't do a lot of research, but whatever. Yeah, so we're in New York now. If you've seen the previews for this movie, you're thinking this is going to be really cool because we've never been in another setting, right? Other than college
And Hollywood.
and yeah, Hollywood. We've never been in New York. It just seemed like this was going to be a really cool idea to just throw Ghostface in the middle of this huge city where people are killed a lot and some people just walk by and don't even think twice, So
I love the tagline for this movie.
what is it?
New York, new rules.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. So the movie starts like every Scream movie does, right? We all know we're going to have the famous phone ring and There's going to be
some celebrity.
a murder, either a celebrity or somebody who we're never going to see again. And that's where we're always going to start out. Now, we can't really talk about this without spoiling anything, but that's the way it starts in this movie. I thought that they were going to do something a little bit different than what they did. I wasn't disappointed in how they did it. They actually did change what the opening was in this movie. I don't know. Can we say what he does?
No, let's not.
Okay.
Let's just say it's not as crazy meta as the intro to 4 was.
The intro to 4,
where they went through all the different movies and all the different killing during those movies.
Yes. And PSA, pause, time out. If you want a little refresher on all the Scream movies, we went through all of the hard work for you and did all of these Scream movies last year. So if you want to listen to our podcast, we go over every single one of them.
Except 5, because that was leading up to 5.
Right. Yeah.
We never did one for 5.
We didn't. We should go back and do that maybe. I don't know. We probably should watch 5 before we saw 6.
Yeah.
So anyways.
We did a lot of back work for this one.
Yeah. Whatever. So opening scene. We get our usual kill. We get the usual scream, on the scream on the screen, and then we go into our story. It
actually took a long time for the scream thing to show up.
I think thought it's one of the so too.
Ones. This is one of the longest. This is the longest Scream movie. Also,
it's the longest Scream movie, and it's the longest intro.
Yeah,
like I was like, are they not going to tell me what movie I'm seeing? So yeah, that was different. Overall, I really like Samantha's character more in this movie. She was a little bit of annoying to me. She's the older sister. She was a little bit of annoying to me in the last movie. Are we allowed to do spoilers for Scream 5?
Yes, it's been a year.
So if you watch Scream 5, you will know that Samantha is Billy's daughter. Like he had an affair, that this is her. So she's clearly struggling with who her dad is. She never knew her dad, but she is struggling with the fact that her dad was a serial killer.
And we got cool little like de-age Skeet Ulrich scenes in the movie.
In this one and Scream 5.
And Scream 5. I was just talking about Scream 5.
Yes. Oh, you're just talking about Scream 5. Yeah. Okay. So in Scream 5, she was kind of annoying to me. I didn't feel like she had like really, I don't know. She wasn't like a deep character. I feel in this movie, she came alive more. More so than Jenna Ortega's character. Now, I will say, okay, Jenna Ortega is like the it girl right now, right? She was great in Wednesday. She was in X. We knew she was going to be in this movie because she was in Scream 5. She's, this horror goth girl. Everybody loves her. Now, I will say that she does a great job as Wednesday. She's the epitome of Wednesday. Could anybody play this character in Scream 5 and 6? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you said, sorry.
I would say the only thing is they kind of look like each other is all.
They do. But she didn't develop anymore. In fact, she was quite annoying in the beginning of this movie. I get what they were trying to do. She's a freshman in college. She's trying to rush for a sorority. She's trying to move on with her life. Her sister is very guarded and wants to protect her because that's all they have. And they just feel that, by moving to New York City away from Woodsboro, the killers aren't going to come find them and nothing's going to happen again. But, Tara just wants to have fun and be a normal 18, 19-year-old, which I get, but she's kind of a whiny baby and she just doesn't need to be there. So I don't know. I get why she's there, but
even that final scene, the final showdown where she finally, wants to do something to help out. It kind of was like too little, too late.
Right. Like you are putting everything on your older sister, as younger sisters do, but Samantha is like a badass throughout the entire movie. Everybody is saying that there's like this whole conspiracy theory against her that she's a killer because of how it happened how she killed the person in the last movie. And so everybody's out to get her. And, now with social media, it's all over that, they're kind of like defaming her and all this stuff. But she fights back. She doesn't just sit back and keeps quiet. She sticks up for herself.
And that's a cool thing that they use too. I was saying earlier after we saw it, was like they should have put more into the whole conspiracy theory aspect of it. But
Right.
having her fight back and seeing what she did compared to what they recorded is kind of what's going on right now in the news and
Sure.
stuff, and that's what Scream's
Right.
known for.
Yeah, because that's what they focused on last Scream movie, Scream
Right.
5. You know, it was
Yeah,
all
with the
about
requels.
social media. Yeah, they could have leaned in more on that because they clearly edited a lot of the cell phone footage that they took of her to make her look like the bad person.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yep, I agree with you. So Samantha is dealing with her trauma. She's going to see a therapist who's not really treating her seriously, I guess you could say. Like
He's just
she
got overwhelmed
yeah,
by her real story.
yeah. So I recognize that guy from somebody, and I feel that he was the dad in Ready or Not.
I don't remember that movie that
Okay,
well.
I'm gonna look it up because and the reason why we talk about Ready or Not is the main girl, Samara Weaving, was in the opening scene of this movie. So
Oh, you spoiled it.
that's not a spoiler,
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
but that's not a spoiler in who's in it.
Okay. Okay.
I feel that we all knew that she was going to be in it just because one of the Easter eggs in the subway, you could see somebody dressed like her character. We all
Well, it's because
feel,
it's by the same people who made it.
yeah, well, I didn't know that until today, but we all felt like she was going to be in this movie. At least I did. And I know Jason did. Hi,
Yeah. If
Jason.
only Jason were here.
I know. He's probably screaming at us right now. So, I mean, we can't really go into a lot more without starting
No,
to talk about the plot.
just give your review on how you liked it or didn't.
I loved 75% of the movie. I really enjoyed the killings. I enjoyed the fact that Ghostface not only used his knife, but he integrated other things to kill with. I liked some of the characters, and I really, really enjoyed how they tied in legacy characters. I will say I'm big on that. I'm big on how you integrate that kind of stuff. I think they did a really good job with that. The ending started to kind of lose me, but I understand why they did what they did. However, and I get it. This is a sixth movie in a really extremely popular franchise. And I can only imagine how difficult it is to continue writing these movies and try to come up with unique killers and the reason, why they're doing this and how they connect and all that stuff. I totally get it. I couldn't do it. This to me felt a little bit like a cop out. And maybe if I talk to other people or, you can convince me otherwise, maybe I'll see another side. But I was just kind of like, I think we've done this one before.
This again.
Yeah. So, and I also am not a big fan of one of the characters that was in the end scene. Anyways, so I mean, overall, I was very, very happy with this movie. I can go into some things that I did not like, but did you like it?
I absolutely did. I thought it was way better than 5.
And you liked 5 a lot.
I did like
Yeah.
5 a lot. In fact, this is probably in my top 3. With the first one being number 1 and 2 being number 2. I love 2. And this would be my number 3 favorite one. It's really well done, especially if you've stuck around the whole time. And even I read an interview saying that even Kevin Williamson was like, good job, because he didn't write this one.
Right.
He was writing sick at the time.
Right.
And,
yeah, I mean, this is a franchise that people, if you stuck with it this long, not only are you like in it, right? Like you're in it to win it, but you're also going to be very
invested?
I guess,
invested.
You're invested, and you also just don't want them to let you down. Like you've been invested since when was the first one?
96.
96. I mean, that's a long time.
Yep.
And I've liked pretty much every single one of these movies. Yeah, Scream 3 is just no bueno. Scream 5, it was okay. It was okay.
It was a good start for this one.
Yes. Yes, I saw what they were doing. It was a good start for uh a new way of doing things in the world, I guess you can say, where it's, social media and all that stuff. I get it. So yeah, I
So
was
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going back saying I really like this one. The it was kind of like the Force Awakens feel watching it, going, oh, look at all the Easter eggs, look at that, look at
Yeah.
that, look at that.
Yeah.
Except it was a cohesive story, and it I don't know, and the excuse me, the kills were great too. Like you said, it was a lot. It's probably gorier than most other of the
I
Saw movies.
agree. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, the first one I know they cut out a bunch of like intestines and stuff in the beginning, but you kind of see some of that come back in this
Mm-hmm.
one. Um, very brutal kills. The ghost face was brutal in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it and like you said, with it being in New York, some people didn't like that scene in the bodega. There were people that just didn't care, and that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that when we get into the spoilery stuff. But all in all, I really really enjoyed this movie. I like the idea that it's taken that they started with three, kind of taking it away from horror and making it a thriller, and now they're bringing it back into a slasher thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciate that because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a horror for slashers.
You're a slasher fan. Yes.
Yeah.
We know. Yes. Yeah. I'm ready to spoil away.
Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want any spoilers, leave or stop this video right now because we are issuing a spoiler warning. I don't know if that's going to be a graphic or not, but it's spoiler warning from here on out because we are going to talk the shit out of this.
You brought up the bodega. So two things about the bodega scene. One of my disappointments was they did not utilize New York City as much as they should have. I know it wasn't shot in New York, but I feel like they could have brought in more of that's definitely New York, right? Okay, so Jason, right? Jason takes Manhattan. He's walking down Times
Times Square.
Square. Why couldn't we have more of like New York central things that you just know that that's New York? I don't know. Like,
And
yeah,
we
you
had
had the
Central
sub,
Park.
huh?
We had Central Park.
That wasn't Central Park, but yes, I guess it was made to look like Central. Even the subway, you could tell it wasn't New York subway, but
Well, and Jason Takes Manhattan, the only scene that they shot in New York was Times Square,
was the Times Square.
and they
Yeah.
shot the rest in Montreal.
Yeah. Because it's too hard to,
And
shoot in New York
expensive.
City. Yeah, no, I get that. The bodega scene was probably one of my top scenes in all of the franchises where I was actually like holding my breath and I felt the tension. The only one that's more, I think it was Scream 3, where was a Scream 3 where she had to climb over Ghostface in the car. That was that too. That
That's
was
my favorite scene in all of Scream.
hands down one of the best scenes ever where you're literally holding your breath. I felt that the bodega scene was done so well. And I felt it was realistic, right? Because
Yeah.
she had to throw the can to distract him. I mean, there was no way you were getting out of that, other than what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like holding my breath. But like you said, like New York, they're just like, hey, get in line, like guy with the creepy mask. Plus, it was centered around Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people just didn't even think twice
Yeah.
of masks.
It's like that scene in Last Action Hero. Of course, you'd remember everything from Last Action Hero,
Oh yeah.
where the bad guy Benedict shoots a guy in the middle of the street, and he's like, "I just killed someone," and they're like, "Shut up!"
Yeah. I don't remember that at all. But yes, it's exactly like it. And that goes back to the opening scene. When the
Yes.
opening scene, there's people running around with costumes and she's just kind of like, oh, okay, like I don't see you. And she's, once she gets stabbed, nobody blinks. Like nobody thinks twice if hearing somebody scream. Scream. But so going back to that scene, now that we can spoil, that was really cool because her profession was she's a film professor, and she is in the college that they're all going to, and she's talking about, she was focusing on slashers, right?
Yep.
That was her forte.
Yeah.
And she's meeting up on a blind date with a guy, and it turns out it's not who he is. But that was really cool because he lures her into the I was going to say
Alley.
hallway, the alley. Yeah, the
Yes.
alley. Kills her violently. And then what does he
He
do? And
takes his
again, this is
mask
the
off.
opening scene. He takes his mask off. What?
Perfect.
Never seen this before.
Yeah.
Ghostface takes his mask off. We've been waiting for this for six seasons or six movies.
Movies. New York, new rules.
And he took his mask off, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar.
He didn't look familiar to me.
He looks like the guy that was in Spider-Man to me. And again, I haven't looked it up, but he looks like
What
somebody who played
guy?
in a Spider-Man. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. He looked
Okay.
familiar to me. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
So he
That
just
guy-
takes his mask off, throws it on the street.
That guy made me sad because he had the same interests as I did for his school. And I was
So
like,
you're gonna be
I don't
you're
want to
gonna
be
a
a
killer.
I don't want to be a killer. I don't want to be that guy. But he had, he was mad that she gave him a C on a Jalo report,
Yeah.
and he had a last podcast on the left poster in his room and stuff. So I was like, no.
Yeah, their whole apartment, him and his roommate's apartment was just like all decked out and stuff. Like didn't they have like Friday the 13th playing in the background?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Friday the 13th part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
So that was kind of funny. So yeah, we're introduced to him. He doesn't last long. His roommate is already brutally murdered.
Yeah, and they're kind of, and I like the idea that they were the ones that were supposed to be set up to be the ones that were the obsessive.
Right. So now you have these two people that you're thinking, oh, they were the killers, and now they're dead. And now who's the killer? Now what are we doing? Like, what was their whole thing? And we don't find out about them until the very end, the last scene. What was their deal? How are they incorporated with the people who are the killers and stuff? But yeah, at that point you're like, well, now who is the killer? And you're looking at everybody.
Which is what Mindy did throughout the whole movie.
Yes. Good old Mindy. So then we are introduced to the cop of this movie, Dermot Mulrooney, Dylan McDermott. No, this was Dermot Mulrooney.
The guy from the one from New Girl.
I can't with this guy. I can't with him. He's not a great actor.
He's just there.
Exactly. He's just there. So he came in. He is the father of Samantha's roommate. Samantha and Tara's roommate.
Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. So yeah, he takes an interest in the case because he doesn't want his daughter to get killed, blah, 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 blah. So he was just there. Then what do we do? Do we go to the frat party?
Well, because Tara left without letting Sam know.
Yeah, Tara's kind of bratty, but
but she has Chad looking out for her.
Yes, good old Chad. Chad's like the alpha male of
literally
the movie,
named
sure.
Chad.
Yeah, Chad.
Yeah, he's still a dork.
He is. Yeah, he's likable. He's cute. I like him. So one of the Easter eggs that I noticed, you noticed one first in the fraternity sorority scene. It was a costume party, and there was a girl that walked by dressed like Wednesday Addams. So that was a cute little nod to Jenna Ortega. But she was rushing. Do you remember who she was?
Yeah, the same one as in part 2.
The same one as number 2.
Yeah,
that was awesome. And I just thought back of Sarah Michelle Gellar picking up the phone, and she's like, Omega Beta Zeta. It's great. It's great. So that scene it wasn't really needed. It just showed how, Tara just wants to live her life, and Samantha's protecting her and tasing people that want to sleep with her.
Well, the guy did end up being like really creepy and bad.
Yeah, he was going to date rape her for sure.
Yeah. But we also get an introduction to Mindy's girlfriend.
Yes. I don't remember her name.
Don't either. If you know her name, please put it in the comments.
But yeah, Mindy's girlfriend.
And
So there's our other, character that so now we have like five suspects, right?
yeah, and the one curly haired kid that just appears out of nowhere.
Yes. Ethan, who looks very similar to somebody from Scream 5. I noticed it from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't remember the people from Scream 5 that well. I
Yeah.
need to go back and watch it.
You do. They were like actually famous people for the time. They're like in a lot of like young adult shows and stuff like that. And he always reminded me of a young, cute Adam Brody because of his curly hair. And
I could see that.
So when he popped up on the screen, I'm like, you look like that guy. Did I miss something? Did you come back to life? I don't know. I was a little confused. So
well, I mean, we're in the spoiler room, so you can talk about it.
oh, yeah. So he's the dead guy's brother.
Yeah.
He is the killer from Scream 5's brother.
Right, because we get a whole Scream 2 rehash from the ending of this.
Yeah. So I know that you probably think this is fun and funny, but I'm kind of on the fence and I'm kind of like, okay, enough is enough. Now, although I do love Mindy and I love her Randy-like attitude, the whole like, we're in a franchise now thing. Like, we get it, right? Like, do we have to keep doing this over and over again in every Scream movie?
We kind of do, especially for the new generation, because they didn't have a Randy.
But they have a Randy because they should have gone and watched all of these before they're watching this one.
Well, that's why Scream 5 is just called Scream.
Look, if anybody out there is just starting from the Scream franchise, starting with number 5 and not watching 1 through 4, you are the problem.
Coming from the person who hates black and white movies.
If you do not go back and watch the original Scream, you shouldn't deserve to watch movies. I don't know.
Now here's the thing: do the youth? Do you think the first 3, at least the first 3, would be scary because all the technology is completely different?
I don't know. I would love to watch that with like what are they called now? Zennial?
I don't know. Aren't they alpha now?
That's horrible. I don't know. I mean,
because they've got the Z, and I don't know.
I think it would be funny to watch that with somebody that's young, that's like, first of all, like, what is that phone that she's picking up? Like, what is that cordless looking thing? Why can't she text people? Like, I don't know. They would probably be like, what? But
I mean, they did that in Scream 5 at the very beginning when the phone rang. They're like, no one ever calls me on my landline.
Yeah.
Why do you have a landline?
Right. And you mentioned that in this time when Gail Weathers picked up her landline. Like, Gail, come on.
If I were Gail or Sydney, I would not have phones, period.
No.
I would have like, I don't know, a pager.
I'd like to think Sydney doesn't, because of how she was in Scream. I don't know which one that was, where she lived on the ranch and she was a crisis.
That was 3.
Okay. Let's talk about Sydney real quick. Okay, so we all know that they didn't want Neve back.
Neve.
Well, isn't that her name? Neve?
I thought it was Nev.
Oh, okay, Nev. They wanted Nev back, but they didn't want to pay her, which, first of all, okay, I'm a little torn on this. Number one, that's bullshit, because the amount of money that you guys are making on these movies, I guarantee you surpassed Scream 5 by millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you're going to do that with this one. How dare you not bring back your legacy character, your main legacy character that made this franchise? How dare you not pay her what she's entitled to and then just kill her off? Like, she deserved a better story. She's not dead. No, what I'm saying is just kill her off.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want her to come back anymore, pay her, give her due, have her go off in a blaze of glory and kill her. She deserved better than that. She deserved better than what they gave her in this movie, because Gail was just like, oh, Sydney calls and says her love. She's with the kids and her husband and they're somewhere safe. And that was all we heard of her. It was a cop-out. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, well, it's to keep her character in the story in case they do decide to pay her.
And if I was her, I would say, you had your chance, you should have paid me. But again, money talks. But I think they just should have brought her back and killed her off, because on the flip side, she wasn't missed in this movie at all.
Mm-mm.
The thing that just gets me is she made this movie. She's your legacy character aside from Gale Weathers. She deserved to come back for one final stabbing, just finally kill her and let go.
Yeah, and Gail was useless in this movie.
Gale has been useless.
I know,
I
but
was
she didn't even need to be in this at
No,
all.
she was the most useless. Now, I will say her fight scene at the end, she does fight back.
Yes.
She's smart. Gail is smart when it comes to fighting off.
Yeah.
She had her gun. She can fight. She can drop kick. She can do all that. I'm a little pissed that she's probably still alive. They should have killed her. Like,
Yeah.
let's just get rid of all the legacy characters.
Although Dewey should have been the final one they got rid of, because he was the only one who could actually, fend off. But I'm not going to get into that.
Get into what?
Get into how terrible Dewey's death scene in the last movie
that was pretty bad. Well, even her death scene, like, there were so many times in this movie where Ghostface was down for the count and you guys could have just gotten rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that one split second and he just jumps back. Like, Gail had him.
Yep.
And then she reached for the knife to stab him, and he had another knife and just
That was a piece of the window.
Oh, was it window? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it was smart.
There was just so many times where it was like, you were right there, huh?
It was smart for that Ghostface to play possum.
Yeah. I wonder which Ghostface that was.
Oh, I don't know.
When they out all the Ghostface, and there's more than one, which is in every movie except for 3.
3, yeah.
We never know who did what killing.
Yeah.
I would like to know, especially when there's like a 5'1" girl as the killer. I want to know who the hell she killed.
I was going over old Scream Easter eggs, and one I never found out and one I never discovered until recently from the first movie is the scene in front of the fountain where they're all talking about Drew's death. If you look, Billy and Stu are wearing the same shoes.
Oh.
Because you do see an emphasis of their shoes in that movie. So there's like hints at who's what. So I kind of want to see it again now.
That's cool. Yeah. Interesting.
But are there any cool Easter eggs on this one?
Oh, yeah. So one of the main Easter eggs, which you could see from the trailer, is apparently they had over 200 named character costumes in the subway. You unfortunately went to the bathroom during that scene.
I did. I missed Pinhead.
So I wanted to let you know on some of them that you missed. So there was a Pinhead, there was a Michael Myers, there was Chucky, Pennywise, the twins from The Shining, Sam from Trick or Treat. My favorite, someone was wearing Florence Pugh's dress from Midsommar. And there was a costume based on Keke Palmer's outfit in Nope.
Oh.
I was
going to say, and wasn't Samara Weaving's character?
And Samara Weaving. Yeah. She had the lace wedding dress and the bullet. What are those called?
Bandolier.
Banditos? What?
Bandolier.
Bandolier. Bandito.
Bandito is Spanish for bandit.
That's similar.
Who was the dog in the Brady Bunch?
I did not know that. Yeah. So that was cool. All those, because I was trying to pay attention to the scene, but then I was like trying to look around like, ooh. And I know there was more, but those are the ones that I thought were cool. That was another scene that was very like hold your breath, because when you're riding on a subway, most of the time the lights don't flicker as much as that did.
I was thinking that too.
I mean, that was a little ridiculous, but if you picture yourself on the subway and there's so many Ghostface and one of them is probably the real Ghostface and the lights keep coming out and he just keeps coming closer, that's very, very intense. So that was a
cool scene.
Yeah, I liked that. Okay, we talked about the frat party Wednesday costume.
One more thing about the subway was that scene was even though it was like played on, I'm glad we're in spoiler mode here. Even though it was played on, it was done really well by the killer kid being like all concerned about Mindy's stabbing. Like he played that off really well.
Yeah. Because she knew, she was like, you're him. You're a killer. I know you are. Like you're never around when all of us are, getting chased or whatever. And then, she did not want to be on the subway car with him.
It's the Billy Loomis effect, don't want to be around you.
Oh my God, when Billy Lewis just popped up that one time, like, hey,
Oh, in the hallway.
yes, hey,
Well, that was, and that's one thing Wes Craven was good at. He was good at good jump scares.
yeah, yeah. Which there weren't a lot of them in this one. It
Nope.
relied heavily on gore.
Yeah, and suspense
Yes,
without the big jump. I mean, the
yeah,
suspense was there.
yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Just like the scene in part two where they had to climb over him in the car.
Yes.
Um, there was no big jump reveal for that.
Right. And there was a couple of those scenes. I talked about the bodega one, but also when they were climbing through on the ladder from one
Mm-hmm.
building to another, that was an intense scene. I don't know
It
how
was.
realistic it was, but um it was kind of intense. I couldn't do that. That poor Asian girl that had her guts just spilling out trying to make it across that ladder, like, oh, and she was so close to making it.
Yeah, she
Poor
had her
girl.
hand out.
Yeah, poor girl.
Poor
Um,
girl.
you mentioned that they played well, you didn't mention it now, but you caught it. Anytime we brought up Dewey, they played Dewey's cowboy theme that
Your
I
favorite.
hate so much. But that was a little touching. And then they played Red Right Hand twice.
Yes.
Once when she was going over the rules
Annika.
again. Huh?
Annika. That's her name.
Annika?
Annika.
Did
Because
that just come to you or did you
yeah.
look it up?
Yeah, because I kept thinking it was a Star Wars name.
Oh, yeah, it's like Anakin. Annika. Okay. Huh. So yeah, they played that in that scene, and then they played it again at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
the fan film,
yeah, yeah.
which was a cool
Um,
scene too.
yeah, I mean, I can sit there and say that I didn't like the ending, but that's not necessarily true. I really liked the ending. I just didn't like who the killers were.
Right.
So I'll back up. The fact that these people had a old movie theater and it was essentially a shrine to every Scream movie and every ghost face and every kill was brilliant.
Yeah.
I wanted so badly to go back, and I know this will probably be on like the extended cuts or whatever on the DVD, but you can see all these different things from all the different movies, and it was just so cool to see. Like you saw the rope from Scream One, like the rope swing, and the TV, and
Yeah. And
um,
Stu's smoking jacket.
yeah. I mean, it was just
And the
you could
tied
see
up
like the
boyfriend.
huh.
And the tied up boyfriend
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
beginning.
He didn't have a face, but
Yeah.
he was there. And you could see all the drawings of the past victims. I read that part, it was either I would assume it had to be part because the whole thing would be too big, but the garage door that killed Tatum was somewhere in that scene.
It
So
has
I
to
think that
be.
would be cool to see.
Yeah, because that front room was all the victims,
Right.
and the back room was all the ghost faces. This is
Yeah. Yeah, I was more into the victims, like all the little like set
hmm,
pieces and stuff. That was really cool. The fax machine, I did see the fax
yeah.
machine that was there from Scream 3. So then you have this like, all these mannequins on the stage with all their black cloaks and all the different masks. So when you originally saw the trailer for this and all the posters, you saw Ghostface mask and you're like, this is not the usual Ghostface mask, right? It looked like it had cracks in it or dirt. Like it just looked more hardcore. And, we were like, well, why is it like that? So it was cool how they addressed that because they were all past, they're the past killers
Yeah.
masks, like the legit masks.
And that's one thing that I liked about it too, because before you find out that the cop is a bad guy, he was all the DNA matching was the DNA from the killers,
Right. Right.
the
He
original
was
killers.
smart,
Yeah.
and that's why you had to have him as one of the bad guys because
He
he
was
could
too
switch
smart.
bodies out. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he could switch bodies out and blah blah blah. Oh, we didn't even bring
I
up
was
one
just
of
gonna
the
say that.
main characters that came back. Fan favorite Kirby came back as an FBI agent, which was so funny because Gail's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm an FBI agent." And Gail's like, "You're a child." She's like, "I'm 30." And it's like, oh yeah, Kirby is old now, but yeah. So she came in. I don't know. She was just Kirby, I guess.
But she wasn't. Like I was excited, but she didn't play Kirby right.
No.
And I guess that goes back to because I looked looked her up, and apparently Hayden Panettiere, is that how you say her name?
Panettiere, yeah.
Panettiere. She did not act after Scream 4.
Oh,
She I don't know what happened, but she didn't act for something like 5 years, and when she came back to acting, they're like, I don't think anyone's gonna hire me.
huh.
She had like no esteem
Yeah.
to
Well,
come
she
back to
went
acting.
through her personal life. She
Yeah.
went through like a really bad marriage, like physical, mental abuse. So
Hmm.
maybe that just kind of broke her down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, she wasn't good, but she wasn't bad. Like she was just meh.
Yeah, because they wanted her to come back for the last Scream movie,
Yeah.
and they couldn't find her because she didn't have an agent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she'll get more roles now. I don't know. I mean, her
I don't
performance
know.
wasn't great. But maybe that's because they made it seem like, is she good or is she bad?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to believe she was there to help, but then when the cop was like, she hasn't been on the force in years, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe this she is the killer.
They really did a good job with the misdirection. That's
They
one thing
did.
I really liked about it was
They
I
did.
I I was with the cop the whole time.
I even said that to you. I think the cop came out and I go, well, he's the killer,
You
which I
did.
was I was partially right. Oh, and then I also said that the hunky next door neighbor guy, I was like, well, he's the killer.
Oh God. He was good. He was a good, like, doofy, pretty boy.
Yeah, he was something.
Everybody was at least decent in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, I agree. Um, I liked seeing pictures of all the old killers, like Laurie Metcalf, and you know how they had everybody on
Oh
the
yeah,
on
on the
the bulletin board.
yeah.
What's his name from Felicity? Scott Foley. I just say Felicity, like you're supposed to know who that is. It's Roman from
And
Scream 3.
Timothy Oliphant
Yeah.
and a
And then you're like,
gigantic
why?
Skeet
You're
Ulrich.
like, why does Ski Ulrich have the biggest picture of all of them up there? Like everybody else had just like small like pictures, and Skeet's got
It's like
this
his
giant.
headshot.
Yeah. But I did notice that when it showed Stu, it was like question mark,
Oh, I
like
know.
remains. Like, are they just gonna give this to us or just gonna let it go?
I'm sick of that. Stu is dead.
Apparently he's not. I don't
Matthew
know.
Lillard's alive and well, but
I can't picture Matthew Lillard coming back in like full force Scream. Like he's like 60 years old now.
I wonder if he's in this because he's been in all of them.
Has he?
Yeah.
Like where you can actually see him, or is he like in dressed up in something?
He's we talked about it on the podcast.
I forgot. That was a long night.
He was at the frat party in part 2.
Oh, okay.
I think he was in the hospital part 3. He was at
Interesting.
the movie festival in part 4.
Oh,
I don't know if
huh.
he was in 5,
Well,
but he
maybe
was
he's here. Maybe he's one of the subway people.
maybe. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Him and
Hmm.
Daniel Craig just hanging out.
Daniel Craig.
He just likes to put masks on and go places.
Yes. That's funny. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I was very happy with this movie, happier with this movie than I was with Scream 5. Again, I just go back to the whole, oh, it's a family, it's a cuckoo family getting together and, revenge on our kid. And I do kind of feel bad for the brother and the sister because the cop was like, you don't understand how hard it is to lose your firstborn son. And he was brilliant. And I helped fund all of this for him. Like I helped him. He was a fan and I helped him get all of these, all these things for his fandom. And it was like,
You
what
could
about your
see,
daughter and this other kid that you have killing people?
yeah,
Like
and you could see that in the brother's eyes. He's like, would you
totally.
just shut up about him right now? We're trying to do
Yeah.
this.
I saw a little bit of the sister too, where she
Yeah.
was just like, okay, like what am I, chopped liver? And that's exactly what they were. They were exposable for him.
Yeah.
His goal was to kill anybody who hurt his son, who killed his son, and anybody who was associated with them. And he didn't care what he had to do. So
Yeah.
let's just bring on your kids.
And I think that's my only gripe with this movie is it had the same um go from just normally sane to crazy, crazy, crazy killer attitude that Timothy Oliphant had in part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was fine until Laurie Metcalf showed up, and now he's all like goofy, crazy guy. I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna kill you. And
Yeah,
that's what Mulrooney was all like. He was cool and collected until he had to reveal himself, and then he's the Joker. So
Yes, I agree. And then that's bad acting. That was just too much.
yeah, that's the one time I don't like Timothy Olyphant is in Scream 2. And just
Yeah.
that scene in Scream 2.
Yeah.
Some
No, I
people just
agree.
can't play crazy.
Right. Right. No, I completely agree. And it's not Dermot Mulroney, Dylan McDermott. So I don't know. But oh, overall, I give it 8 out of 10 stabs.
Ooh, 8 out of 10
I
stabs.
do.
I
I
give
love Scream. You know me. I am not I don't know if I want to say that I'm a big slasher person. I do like slashers. I've never been a huge Jason movie person. I'm not a huge Nightmare on Elm Street. I like him better than Jason. And Michael Myers movies have just gotten to be dull for me. It's just the same thing that just you can't kill this man. And it's just all I have is my knife and I just stab people. It's just gotten to be too much for me. But something about Scream, I find that from the beginning of this franchise has been brilliant, has been ahead of its time. It's been completely smart. It's made fun of itself. It's made fun of the horror genre. And I just think it's been brilliant. And aside from Scream 3, which even Scream 3 has some good things, it's a pretty perfect franchise for me. So I hold Scream in a really high regard as far as franchise goes, next to Insidious. That's my next favorite franchise. I think they did a very good job with this. I was kind of leery about it going in after Scream 5 because I was like, I don't really like what they did, but I respect what they did and I understand why they did it. So if they keep these movies going and they keep altering what they're doing to be in with the times, I have to respect that because you can't lean on 1996 anymore. It's just not going to bring the people in, the youths.
That was another Easter egg I read about on the subway. They kept saying they were stopping at platform 96.
Ah,
Yeah,
good one.
I guess. I
Mm,
mean, if
no,
you
I mean,
know,
good for you for getting that one, I guess. I don't know. No, that's good. That's good. So,
um,
overall, what do you get it?
I don't know. Yeah, I would lean 8, maybe 9 stabs out of 10. It was great. It was a good ride. It was a good ride. Even if it was long, it was like what, 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that.
I didn't feel like I was like,
That's what I
this
mean.
is dragging.
Yeah.
So,
It was a good ride. The characters were great. The kills were great.
yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was the crazy acting at the end, and it didn't need Gale. Um, and I didn't think it needed Kirby either. I think that she was just thrown in for fan service.
I think she was too. And I think that they continue to throw Gail in there for fan service. But if you survey most of the fans, they're going to tell you we're fine with killing her off.
Yeah,
Gail should have been killed off in the last one. Just let her go with Dewey. She's old. She looks it.
yeah. I was hoping that they were going to kill all three off in the last one.
Yeah,
Nothing against them, but their legacy is over,
correct.
and
Yeah,
they don't need, and like Mindy said, they don't need to keep bringing legacy characters back just for the idea.
right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Watch Mindy show up when she's dead.
I and I like I said when we were leaving the theater, I think it's gonna be a trilogy where Sam finally snaps because she can't get Billy's voice out of her head.
Yeah, we didn't even really discuss that. You're right. And I think that would be cool because
This is
she
twice now
needed
she's killed.
yeah, she needed a weapon at the end, and Billy was talking to her, and he's like, "You need to arm yourself. Like, don't trust anybody. You know, sweep the premises, make sure everything's good." And she looked down, and she got his bloody knife from his uh
Costume.
costume stand. You know, his memorabilia or whatever. And he was like, "Good choice, smart choice." And you could tell she's just struggling with it. I mean, if you have Ski Ulrich as a dad, that's
If you have
it could,
knockoff Johnny Depp as a dad,
there could be worse things, Man, he still looks good. And you see like this much of him,
yeah.
and it's not even a full thing. It's a reflection of like a 50-year-old man, and he's still hot.
I
Man.
also liked because it was a reflection, and it wasn't the reflection of him in the suit. It was her reflection in the
Yes.
face.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and I just
Yeah.
really think that the only place they can go is having her be the next killer.
I like that. And at the very last scene, it looks like she's going to take his mask until the sister comes and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she looks down and she throws it out.
Yeah,
But she's struggling, like, well, maybe I'll just keep it. Like, not only is it a memento of my father, who I never knew, but maybe it's kind of cool.
this is kind of who I am now.
Yeah. I think that wouldn't be too far off. I would be okay with that. And then that's it. Then we're done.
Yeah,
We're done. That would be Scream 7. 7 is a good number, right? Yes. So if you're listening out there, that's what we think you should do. And then kill Gail.
Gail's gonna be the only one left.
Gail looks like a ghost right now. She is so gauntly.
Oh, I know.
Oof.
She needs to
And
now she needs to gain weight.
okay, so yeah, she does. So her boyfriend was just like the same type of black cameraman that she's been having on her side all these
She
movies.
has a type.
I mean, good for you, Gail.
He was useless.
Still, well, he held her camera.
That's true.
That's all he was there for.
The best Gale scene is still from part 2 in the sound recording room.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's another good intense point scene.
Yep.
Scream 2 is high up there.
It sure is. It really took the suspense up.
Yes. Here's the thing. Scream 1 is good because it's the original. You have to have the original. And Scream 1, the opening scene is hands down one of the greatest openings of any horror movie. But the entire movie, Scream 2 might have it. As far as, tension and
It's what I tell people. I tell
yeah,
people
you're right. You're right. Omega, Theta, Theta, Gamma.
Yeah, there's not really any. I don't think there's any memorable scenes in 3. It was just a stupid ride.
Was that the one where we were introduced to Cotton?
Yeah, well, and not introduced, but without no, that was 2.
Oh yeah, you're right.
3 is the one he died in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And they okay. The cool thing was having the fight in the fake Sydney house.
Yeah.
On the set.
Yeah,
that was cool.
On the set of Stab. Yeah.
And that's where
cool.
Randy died.
Yeah.
Almost the same way that they tried to do it in this one.
Yep. It's all coming back to me.
Yep.
So
if you need a refresher,
apparently we did.
Yes, there are. God, how many episodes did we do? 3? We did 3 episodes, 3 or 4.
Well, we did one for every movie.
Did we? It was a whole episode. Yeah. So there's 4. There's 4 episodes of Cinemadness that would cover Scream 1 through 4.
Yeah, we go over the soundtrack. We go over making of and in-depth things. That's one thing. This movie, I don't think it had a memorable soundtrack. It used the same stuff as the other movies.
It had a song in it that I didn't realize. I didn't think. I remember hearing this song going, that's kind of cool, but it was I don't know. Now I'm just stalling so I can look it up. You can jump in anytime.
Well, I was going to say, if it's a new song, you probably don't know what it is because you're not really hip to the music.
Hip to the music. I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's a good thing we're recording this and not live. Well, God damn it. I don't remember where it is now.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these songs.
Yeah, there was I was looking it up and oh yeah, it's a song called Still Alive, sung by Demi Lovato, but it was written by Mike Shinoda of
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all because I know her voice, but I don't recall that.
Maybe it was at the party scene. Who knows?
Maybe, or maybe it was at the end.
Yeah, maybe it was at the end.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, overall, we recommend going to see it.
Yep.
See Scream 5 first if you haven't, or refresh your memory.
Yeah. Don't do what we did.
No, don't. don't. Yeah, we weren't really prepared, but it's okay. It's still a fun ride. So go see it, give it all the money, and then stream it when it comes out. And
I
yeah,
think it's going on its third weekend at number one right now.
it's going to be taken over after this weekend, but that's okay because that's what happens with Marvel movies. Ooh,
There it is.
Shazam isn't even a Marvel movie, is it?
No, it's not.
Womp womp. All right. Let us know what you think. If you agree with us, if you found any other Easter eggs, if you think this was a great movie, if you think it was a horrible movie, if you think that what we thought was cool wasn't, let us know. If you like Dermot Mulroney, Dylan McDermott, I don't agree with you, but let us know in the comments. And we'll be back for another review when we want to review another movie.
That's probably the most accurate thing to say about that.
Yeah. So, all right. But anything else?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just remember to subscribe and like our stuff and listen to our stuff and keep celebrating cinema.
Celebrate cinema. Bye.